Hello my fellow gamers and welcome back to part 3 of our full breakdown of the Vampire Coast DLC, where we're going through the entire roster of every lord, every hero, every unit, every upgrade, every item, every spec, just everything. We've already covered a magic and lord, so we will now move on to the heroes, and luckily this one should be nowhere near as long as the lord's one. The lord's one was a very long video. I didn't realize how long it was till I had to edit it. Yeah, I mean, 4 named lords and a load of normal lords, all with different spells and abilities. It was a lot to cover. So, if you made it through the end of that, well done. Because I couldn't. So, I had to do it in parts to edit it. Because, yeah, it was just so much to look at. So, we're going to check on the heroes now. And there's only, well, there's really only 3 heroes. There's 5 to select, but 3 of them are the same. So, there's 3 different types. That makes sense. So we'll go straight to the first one, which is the Gunnery Wright, who is the support specialist. Now, with no upgrades at all, he comes at 700 points, and with everything, he comes at 1,824 points. So that's a lot of gold spent on that one thing, just under 2,000 gold. So let's go through everything that he can have. But let's go through the basic stats first. So he has Ballistics Expert. So he improves all nearby friendly missile units. You just sitting back near the artillery, the cannons, the handgunners, things like that. He will improve all their aim. You also have armor-piercing missiles and aquatic, because of course the sea. With about 3,000 health, and you can see all the stats there. He's got armor-piercing. Let's have a look at its weapon strength. You guys want to know? Yes, it is. So his weapon strength is weapon damage at 260. His armor piercing is at 140. Well, his missile damage, missile damage is 60. The armor piercing of missile damage is 180, but the reload time is 7.2 seconds. So it's quite a long loading time. So, what's his first upgrade? First thing he can do is get a Rotten Promethean crab, pretty much. If we have a look at how it improves the stats. So, if you get this upgrade, it's worth 400 gold to get him on a crab. It ups his health by 756, ups his armor by 90, his speed by 7, melee attack by 4, melee defense by 8, weapon strength drops by 50, and the charge bonus goes up by 15. So everything pretty much goes up, apart from like leadership, obviously the gun, and his weapon strength. Now, if we have a look, weapon strength was 260, 140. If we put him on the crab, if you put him on the crab, it drops dramatically. So its weapon damage is 105, and its armor piercing is 245. By putting him on the crab, his close combat becomes armor piercing. So if you're up against dwarves, things like that, it might be worth putting him on the crab, because the armor piercing goes up quite a lot, actually. Armor piercing on the crab, 245. And off the crab, from 245, it goes to 140. Yeah, so if you're up against something that's got a lot of armor, dwarves, chaos, things like that, putting them on a crab might be worth it. Main thing I'll be worried about is it makes them large. But if you're against chaos, I think the crab mount would be worth it, because they don't have much range. And you can kind of make them run around that, like the Hellbirds and things like that, the anti-large, and just jump on like the Chaos Warriors and such. So yeah, that is it's not bad. It's a pretty good pick. Next we'll look at his abilities. So the first one was Dead Eyes. It affects everyone around him within 30 meters, and it ups the armor piercing missile damage and missile damage by 10%. For 162 gold. That's really good. Like I said, the fact that you're going to have another range units because he has Ballistic Expert, the fact that you can then up the armor piercing, missile damage, and the missile damage by 10% for everyone within 30 meters. To be fair, I'd probably always get that, because that's kind of what his job is to sit back and support and buff the units around him. His next ability is Bomb Throw. So it's a magic missile, which he can throw 70 meters apparently. It costs 74 gold. It just says causes damage to combatants, but it's just a bomb pretty much. But you can use it 4 times every 60 seconds. So depending on how much damage it does, 74 gold. That's pretty good for being able to just lob bombs everywhere. I mean, there's 4 of them, but yeah, you're pretty much paying, what, 25 gold per bomb? If it kills quite a few, you know, a decent number of units, you've probably made up the cost for it there. So that'd be good. And if it disrupts as well, the formation could be very helpful. So that is the bomb throw at 74 gold. Next we have the Enchanted Ballistics. So this is an ability that affects himself and allies around him. Now this one only lasts for 25 seconds and you can do it every 90 seconds. But for 25 seconds, everyone, including himself, and everyone within 40 meters goes up its accuracy by 60% and its reload skill goes up by 20. This is worth 149 gold, but it is unlimited. Just every 90 seconds, click on it, and suddenly himself and everyone around him, their accuracy goes up hugely, and their reload skill speeds up as well. So again, I would probably grab that 149. I mean, if you really need to drop something, for for that little bit of extra gold for something, I guess you could drop that, because it just does the accuracy and reload skill. But 149, that's not a lot, and to be able to just keep dropping it is really, really good. So that is the Enchanted Ballistics. And finally, Cackle Fruit. It's another magic missile. It's a powerful explosion that you can aim at an enemy within 70 meters. And it not only does damage, but it lowers their speed by 48%. So you cut their speed in half. Now, this can only be used every 90 seconds. And you can use it 3 times, and it's worth 144 gold. So let's round it up. It's about 50 gold a use. And you have to do it every 90 seconds. But if you use it at the right time, that could be really, really useful. To be able to half someone's speed, click of a button. Range 70 meters as well. That's a good range. Yeah, I'd be tempted. I mean, it wouldn't be my top thing. I mean, I'm just thinking, actually, if you've got him at the back, defending your artillery and gun lines, okay, and cavalry get in, that would be perfect as a defensive thing. So you drop it on the cavalry trying to outflank, everything charges, while they're trying to charge, and then you shoot them at point blank range while they're only at half speed. Yeah, that could work really well. You can use it to get your guys to scatter, get them to focus fire and destroy them before they can get that initial charge off. So very powerful ability, actually, if used in the right situation. Finally, he has his 2 items. So the Pigeon Plucker Pendant. This one, I mean, 62 gold, but maybe, I guess, actually, because it affects enemies around him. It's only flying units, though. So for 62 gold, any flying units that gets within 40 meters of him lose 5 melee attack. So why is that helpful? Well, I guess when you think he's going to be at the back with the gunners, the artillery, things like that. What's one of the biggest threats? Well, cavalry and flyers. Flyers are a huge threat for harassing artillery and such. So to have it that you can just -5 to their attack for 60 gold, it's just as soon as they get near, they get debuffed. Possibly if you've got the ghosts spare and the enemy's known for having flyers like that, I would give it a go. But otherwise, I wouldn't bother with that. I'd rather spend that on upgrades like saying half the speed, because surely half the speed would slow down the flyers. So then they're going really slowly, and then you could shoot them or something like that. But if you've got spare 62 gold, and especially if you know your enemy's likely to use flyers, I would definitely get it then. If you've got nothing else to spend it on, yeah, go for it. So that's a cheap 62 coin upgrade. And finally, we've got Scab Scraff, which is a breath attack, apparently. You can lose it 3 times in the whole battle, so just be aware. 3 times in the battle, every 90 seconds. It lasts for 17 seconds, and it causes major magical and fire damage. It's, a long, thin, expand and tear-shaped attack, strong versus multiple units, weak against armor. So things like dwarfs, chaos, things like that, don't bother doing against. But wolves, I'm still trying to think him defensively with the artillery. So flyers, wolves, light cavalry, that sort of thing would be brilliant against. It's 133 gold though. That's quite a lot. That's over 40 gold a use, and you can only use it every 90 seconds. But again, if you expect harassment from, like, say, dire wolves or things like that, or light cavalry, it could be worth getting. But 133, it's quite a lot. But it does cause magical and fire damage. So let's say they get some, let's say vampire counts get some hex wraiths and that behind you. This could still do a lot. Tomb Kings with the fire damage as well, and that could do a lot. And they're not known for having much armor, so that'd be good against that sort of thing. Skaven, because of the fire damage, and obviously they don't have armor because they're Skaven. So it's very situational, that one. So 133 for that one. So yeah, once you've got everything, he goes up to 1,824. Next we'll move on to this pretty boy. The Mongrel Hunter, which is just awful to look at. The minimum cost for him, with no upgrades, items or anything, is 1,450. And that's because he's so powerful with just his basic stuff. He's got armor piercing, anti-infantry, causes terror, and stalk. He's hidden, guys. This guy hides. How? I don't know. As you can see the stats on the side, he's got the armor piercing. He's got bonus versus infantry. Let's have a look at his melee attack. Are you gonna show me? It's weapon strength. I'll get it right one day, guys. So his weapon strength is broken down as such. Weapon damage is 140. His armor piercing 280. His bonus versus infantry is 25. And he's also got missile resistance of 30%. That's really good. So even if you can see him and you shoot at him, 30% of the damage is just going to be ignored. He, of course, causes fear and terror. He's a siege attacker. He can Vanguard deploy as well. Yeah, that's insane. He also has the chilling aura. So any enemies within 40 meters of him lose 36% of their speed. That's just default. It just comes with him. They just slow down when he's nearby. And he's got the hunger. So while he's in combat, he heals back up. Good grief. So, yeah. I mean, that's just basic. That's why he's worth 1,400 with no upgrades whatsoever. Because there is a lot there to fight with. So, he can get for 80 gold, Foe Seeker. Which for 25 seconds ups his speed by 24%. His vigor by 18%. He then can have Deadly Onslaught. This one would probably definitely be worth it for him. Thus, for 31 seconds, for 151 gold, you can up your charge bonus by 36%, the piercing damage by 20%, and the weapon damage by 20%. That would make him a beast if you got that. He has no mount or spells, funny enough, but his items, he can go for the Scarecrow Banner, which any enemies within 55 meters that fly lose 8 leadership. Again, that's very situational. It's interesting that they've got that against him, that this creature can have a Scarecrow Banner. For 67 gold, again, it's like the sit right with the pigeon pigeon. If you've got 67 gold, you can't decide what to spend it on. You could get that, because any flyers that get near him, obviously they get slowed down, he causes terror, and their leadership only drops by 8%. So, yeah. That could be quite helpful for a cheap upgrade, and it's just constant. And finally, he can have a potion of strength, because apparently a creature like this needs a potion of strength. More importantly, how does he swallow said potion of strength? His jaw is dislocated, and he has no stomach. Magic? Probably. This is a one-use item for 69 gold, but for 33 seconds... his armor piercing damage goes up by 40%. His weapon damage goes up by 40%. That is huge. If he takes that and his other ability and hits it at once and goes at a character, especially on infantry character, they're dead. I think it's safe to say. He will just destroy them. And they could try and run, but he slows them down with his chill ability. If they do any damage, as long as he's in combat, he's healing. This guy is a beast, I think it's safe to say, and definitely worth taking, I reckon, if you can. So guys, the final hero is the Vampire Fleet Captain. Now, you can have, there's 3 laws. These are your casters. You've got Vampire, you've got Death, and you've got Law of Deep. So, yeah, they all start at 700 gold. they all have the stats you can see on the right. So if we have a look at the weapon strength, all of them, weapon damage is at 300, the armor piercing damage at 130. For a caster, you don't expect there to be much. So all of them start at 700 basic. No spells, no abilities, no items. The Law of Vampires, if he has everything, is 2,293. The Wizard of Death, hang on, have I done this wrong? I have done this wrong. Well done, Shadow. The Law of Death will be 2,294, and the Law of Deep will be 2,299. So yeah, they're within 5 of each other with the spells. So as I said, it makes very little difference. That's of course if they have everything. So we've got to get rid of everything now. So we can go over what abilities they can have. So first of all, they can all get the crab. We do like the crab. They're great. So with this one, if he gets the crab, his health goes up 756. His armor goes up by 90, which is good because he only has 30 armor. So this adds 3 times the armor, so it becomes 30 to 120. Great. Speed goes up to 7. Melee attack drops by 10, which we expect. Melee defense goes up by 8, but weapon strength drops by 50. So that's quite a huge drop. So his weapon strength was 300 and 130. We put him on the crab, it suddenly switches to 115 and armor piercing damage 265. So again, if you're going up against things that are heavy armor, the crab's probably worth it because of that armor piercing extra he can grant. Also, putting him on the crab, I didn't mention it with the right, but I should now. Putting him on the crab makes him a siege attacker, so you can destroy castle gates with him. So yeah, that's 400 gold to give him the crab. The abilities obviously vary based on the type you've got. So all of them have of course, the attribute based on what law they're using. They all have the hunger, which I would definitely take. For 162 gold, if he's stuck in melee, he could be healing. If you get him to pick on a weak unit, he's healing. Go for it. And finally, he's got Taunt, which is a hex which affects enemies. An enemy target within 100 meters. It lasts 60 seconds. It's only 77 gold for this, okay? 77 gold, use every minute, and it lasts for 17 seconds. What does it do? It lowers the target's armor by 30, their melee defense by 27, and their speed by 24%. To me, that's a grab. 77 gold, and you can just go, oh, you've lost 30 armor and your melee defense has gone down by 27. For 17 seconds. Good luck. That is, that I think is a grab. You would grab that. And the fact that it's 100 meters, he doesn't have to get too close to the front line. But if they've got an elite infantry in the center of the line fighting, you could just drop this on them. Boom. They've just lost a lot of their defense, their speed, so they can't get away as much. Yeah, that is a grab, I think. Taunt. So spells, we'll quickly go over all of the spells of the laws. But I would just go over the cost. So we'll go over the law of the Vampire Fleet Captain of Vampires. So he can Drown Dead, summon Drown Dead, which is the summon zombie pirate for 164. He's got the Incarnation of Nehek, the healing for 80. The Dance Macrab, which is up in the speed and melee attack of an ally for 80 gold. You then got the Gaze of Nagas for 165. The Curse of Years for 242. And the Wind of Death for 238. Next, for this one, be the Lord of Death. So, Aspect of the Dread Knight for 64. The Spirit Leech for 60. The Doom and Darkness for 137. Soberlight for 142. The Purple Sun for 228. And the Fate of Buna for 218. And finally, the Law of the Deep. So, if you don't know what these spells are, do check out my first video of this series, which goes through all of the spells in detail. I'll just quickly go over the names and the prices as I have previously. So, Tide Cool for 64 gold. We have the Spiteful Shot for 62. We have the Denzils of the Deep for 136. We have Fog of the Damned for 142. Vangeist Revenge for 231. And Kraken's Pool for 216. Finally, what do we have for items? The first one is the Power Stone. So you can use it once. worth 76 gold, lasts for 50 seconds, and it increases your power reserves and power recharge rate greatly. So 76, if you really need it for a tight bind, probably worth doing, especially being, you know, for 76, if you've got the gold spare and you got one of these sat around, might be worth doing, just so you can get that power up to 30 and use your bigger spells. So that's 76. And finally, the speed of Lycus, which is... Okay, so if a target, you can target yourself and an ally within 200 meters. You can use this once. For 76 gold, you can use it once. It lasts for 44 seconds, so nearly a minute. And what it does is it ups your speed by 24%. And it gives you Stalk and Unspottable. Now, okay, yeah, so you can hide in any terrain, and Unspottable means they have to be right next to you to see you. So this would be great for using on a fast unit or a sneaky flank here. Just make the whole flank disappear. It affects himself and all allies within 200 meters. Not only that, but they're faster. So if the enemy's going, oh, well, the front line's going this fast, so if there is any flanking, they're going to be at this position. You can surprise them because they're going 24% faster than the rest of the army and can't be seen. That would very much depend on your situation with your army, your opponent, and what you're using this wizard for. So yeah, it's all down to you really. But yeah, 76 gold, unless you had a really sneaky tactic, I wouldn't bother. But that of course is down to you. I just want to make sure I haven't forgotten anything. But I believe, yeah, no, that is everything, guys. So we've wrapped it up. That was a nice quick episode, weren't it? Compared to the launch. Flippin' heck. So in the next episode, guys, we're going to be covering all of the infantry. That is just the infantry, not missile infantry. So just so there's no confusion, we've got infantry next, then missile infantry, monsters and beasts, missile monsters and beasts, and then artillery and war machines, and finally the rare monsters. So yeah, there's still quite a few episodes to go, guys, and there would be one every day till we've got it done. So do hit that like button if you're enjoying this series and all of the full details and the stuff we're finding out about these characters and units. Do comment below what your thoughts are. Have you used any of these heroes? Which one do you prefer? What abilities have you used? And how does everyone feel when you bring in a Mongol hunter? Probably not great, to be honest, but huge investment. And of course, do hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. We're nearly reached 700 at this point, so let's see if we can push it up to 700 before New Year's. My aim, maybe hit 1,000, depending how things go. Let's just aim for 700. So thank you very much for joining me, guys, and I hope you see you guys tomorrow for the infantry. Till then, take care.